Welcome back, students. In this lecture, we'll develop the autocomplete option for our valves IDs so that we do not need to search and write the valve ID again and again. It will be automatically completed. In order to do so, let's go to our code and let's create an empty array here. And I will call it valves array. And I will set it an empty array. And here, in the style valves, actually for the style valves too, it takes into account each valve and each layer. So when the style valves is loading, I will catch the valve ID from the add or attribute and push that into my valves layer. So there is a syntax layer and valves array. So let's do that. So I will valves array dot push. Here I push the add dot valve ID. Okay. And after that has been done, okay, so it will be done after we have called this style valves function. So let's also log it to see what is in our valves array. Valves array. Save that. And let's refresh it. Let's open our console panel. So we have an array and the length is 63. We have 63 valves and all the valves IDs are there. So we are able to separate the valve ID and put it in an array. After that, I will call a jQuery method. When the data has been loaded here, I will call the jQuery method on our valve ID. The column was called valve ID. Here, where it is. Okay, let's inspect log from it to see that what is called. It's valve ID. Okay. So let's put it here, valve ID dot autocomplete. And the autocomplete method, this is the jQuery method, autocomplete, okay. And here I need to pass in the array. And for that, again, this is a JavaScript object, and for object, for any of for JavaScript object, first will be the key. So the key is source. You need to write it exactly as it is in the syntax. And after that, you need to give it the value, and the value is the array. Valves array, okay. Let's save it. And maybe remove it from the console log. We don't need to show it again and again. Let's check that whether it is working or not. Okay. Fine. You see now it is auto completing, and we can search for any option, and it is apparent there. Say on. There is nothing option there. So maybe. So we do not need to write it completely. It is automatically completed. And so far our valve option has been developed. And now we start developing our pipeline option and also our building option. So let's do that. And I'll do that a bit quickly because I'll just copy that and replicate it and change a bit of code. So let's first copy this spacing and fix the spacing. So before the pipeline information, here is the information and the information. Okay. So let's do that for pipeline. So we have our find valve option. After that, we will have our find pipeline. So actually, I'll copy this whole chunk of code and I will paste it here at the bottom. And I will call it find pipeline. And I'll catch the pipeline ID, and I'll call it pipeline ID. And return layer by attributes. Our layer has been defined in the variable called pipelines. Here, you see, so attribute table is another scheme. Let's open this pipeline for attribute table. So the attribute in the attribute table, the column name is pipe ID. So I will define it accordingly, and I will say it pipe ID, and the value is in the variable called pipeline ID. So I'll paste it here, and if the layer has been found, we'll do something with that, and if not found, then we'll put it on the pipeline user that pipeline not found. Okay, pipeline not found. So this is a general function, and we will have just pass it the parameters, and we do not need to write the function again. It will handle it. It should handle it accordingly. And if the layer source is there, it will remove the layer source. And after that, actually, this circle was for the valve, but we need to adjust it according to the pipeline. Okay, so let's do that. Sorry. So we cannot use the circle method. The circle method is only for the point feature. So we'll get rid of this portion. And also the set view method, because the set view method uses the get lat long or a single pair of latitude and longitude. So we cannot also use the set view method. We'll use another method. We'll see that. Here, so I'll call a layer search. And here I will build a separate leaflet layer with the layer that I am getting. In order to do so, I'll call l.geojson, and here I will give it the layer that we are getting, and I will convert it before that to GeoJSON. Okay. Okay, let's see that actually what I am doing. Okay, let's uncomment that, and let's console log two thing. So let's first console log our layer and console log layer to GeoJSON, so that see the difference. Okay. Let's copy a pipe ID, because I have not yet enabled the mistake. Copy cell content. I have not yet enabled the autocomplete feature for the pipeline, so we'll do that. Okay, just let's I'll change the rest of the code later. Just keep an eye on our console panel. Get pipe ID here. Find pipeline. So this is the feature. This is a total layer. This is the total layer, and this is the GeoJSON. You see, this is following the GeoJSON property. It's the feature. The type is feature. It is with the geometry option, the properties option. So if you refer back to my previous lecture, you will see that when you are giving a layer or giving a geometry to build a GeoJSON, build a leaflet layer, you need to give it a proper GeoJSON. So before developing a layer, or before developing a leaflet layer with this layer, we need to convert it to GeoJSON. Therefore, I am calling it the to GeoJSON method. Okay. Okay. Now let's uncomment it, and let's call the to GeoJSON method. I need to give it the parenthesis because it is a function. And after that, I'll set the styling. So the style will be in as an object. So this curly bracket, after that is style, and style is an object itself. So I'll set the color to red and put the weight 10 maybe. And after that, the opacity will be say 0.5%. And that should be good enough. And or after that, I'll put bring the pipelines to font. Okay. And I said that we cannot use the mymap.setView method, because the setView method uses a single pair of coordinates. But for our line feature, we can have multiple pair of coordinates. So we need to address that accordingly. So I call the feedBounds method. So mymap.feedBounds, and I after that layer.getBounds. Sorry. layer dot get bounce method. So I get the bounce from the layer and I feed my map bounce according to that method, the feed bounce method. And it should be done. And after that, I fill up my pipeline information tab, pipeline information div. So this is pipeline information. And let's fill it with some properties. This is our property. And maybe I put the location, DMA ID, diameter, length, category, and the material also. Let's put that information and the method maybe also. Okay. So let's do that. So here, pipeline information. Let's actually I remove this whole portion. It's easy to write it from the beginning, then changing the whole thing. So I'll set the category and category. Okay. After that, I'll put a break and I'll set the DMA ID, say DMA ID add dot DMA ID. After that, I'll break and I'll say the articles, the material, add dot material. After that, maybe the length. So I'll put a break here. NGTs, okay, length. And I call add dot length. And I think another one location. Yes, let us location. So put a break first. And after that, the location. So add dot location. And I think I'm good enough with this much information. You can put your record information here. It's completely okay. Okay, so let's check that whether it's sorting or not. I'll do the autocomplete later. So, okay, let's search for a pipe ID. Maybe any pipe ID. So, boundary, put the pipeline ID here, one pipeline. Okay, it's not working. Why it's not working? We have it's working here, but not working there. There is nothing on our map. Maybe we didn't call the add to my map method. We didn't add it to our map. So add to my map. Okay. Now it should work. Let's copy this ID, refresh it, pipe ID, find the pipeline. You see, this is the red marker. This is the segment of the pipeline that we have selected. Category, DMA ID, and it is also bring it to the font. So if we hover over it, we can see the attribute there also. Okay. And let's do the autocomplete for the pipelines also. So I'll create another array here. And I will name it pipelines array. And I'll put it here. And inside our process pipeline, I'll push some elements, pipelines array. I'll push add dot pipe ID. Okay, add dot pipe ID. And here I'll do the autocomplete. So for the autocomplete portion, I'll just copy this code. I'll copy this code and paste it here. Okay. And call it pipeline ID. Our pipelines array. Set it. And let's check whether our autocomplete is working or not. Okay, we have an error. Uncaught unexpected string. So we have an error, and because of the error, the map is not loading. Okay, so let's check. Oh, it's the error. Let's refresh it again, and the error is here. Okay, That's syntax error. That's silly mistake. Let's change that. It's the pipelines array. There should be. Okay. Let's now refresh it. Okay, so there it is. Let's write the pipeline ID. Okay, you see it's auto-completing now. It's the small segment. And the small segment, maybe write it big on, maybe this one, don't know. Okay. So now we have an autocomplete option for the valve and autocomplete option for the pipeline, and the information is also showing here. And actually this lecture is getting pretty long. So I'll stop it here, and in the next lecture, we'll do it for our building also. So see you on the next lecture.